Howdy.
Hello.
Welcome back to Where Past Meets Planet. Our YouTube debut. Allegedly. Debut?
Hey.
Did it sound... I said what did I say?
You said debut.
Did I say debut? How is it pronounced?
It's debut.
Okay. I actually it's the second time today that I realized I've been pronouncing something wrong my whole life.
What have you...
The other one's
else?
kind of worse. Well, you know how when I talk about like jellyfish and stuff, I call them snidarians?
No.
Okay, well I have been.
Do you?
And I think I've been recorded saying that. That's not how it's pronounced.
Okay.
The C is silent. Which makes sense. And I always kind of wondered.
So how is
it's
it
pronounced Nidarians or Nidarians. Nidarians, not a sn. So
there's no sn at the beginning of it.
There's no sn. It's just
like
the
pterodactyl.
Yeah. You would think that if I knew the P was silent in pterodactyl, then I would know the C is silent in Nidarians, but I don't. I do now.
That's okay.
I don't know why I never thought to look it up either. But here we are.
That's okay.
Our YouTube debut.
Debut.
Not really talking about Nidarians today, but they do come up.
Okay,
so
great. Well, that's
probably
I can have
why
you looked it up, I would imagine.
2 corrections. I actually have multiple corrections for several things. Not really.
I always think of a correction when we're already recording, and then I'm like, well, that's that on that. You're gonna have to know the fact that I don't have a PhD means that this is not. Like, I've been listening to a really...
I still don't know some things.
I've been listening to a really in-depth history podcast that Oshin got me onto, weirdly. It's called The Rest is History, and both of these men are like Oxford professors, and they did a 4-part series on Mary Queen of Scots. No, not 4 parts. Excuse me, 6 parts. So 6 hours of just on Mary Queen of Scots. And they both have written books and stuff. And I was listening to them talk about history. And it's still funny. And they do impressions and stuff. And it's funny. But
oh, it's funny. Then I could probably do it.
But also
6 hours on one person?
Yeah. You just have to pay attention. Oshin and I have discussed that we can't be doing anything. We can't be doing anything that requires brain power when we're listening to that podcast, because if we are, then we miss half of it. So I can listen to that podcast when I am on a walk or coloring or maybe cooking, but I also use it to fall asleep. So there's that. They have really nice voices. I don't want to say it's boring. It's not boring. They're really, really good episodes. Their cadence and the Britishness really puts me to sleep. And so that's what I use on long haul flights now.
That's fair.
That podcast. I think I absorbed some of the information via osmosis, but then...
Well, yeah.
I also know a lot of things about Mary Queen of Scots already. Because I was
in high school, I used to sleep with textbooks under my pillow.
You actually did that?
Yeah. I mean, anything helps, right?
Anything. I mean, any sort of strategy besides reading it, I guess.
I mean, I would try that. But I would have to read things multiple times to retain them. And so I was like, you know what? If I'm not retaining it, reading it, maybe I'll retain it in my dreams. I didn't.
Yeah.
But
I always copied things out of the textbook, into my notes. And then I would recopy my notes into a study guide. I was actually insane. And I'm so glad that ChatGPT was not a thing. whenever I was in college, because thank God I like actually learned. And then I redid all of my notes into a study guide at the end of the semester in a more condensed form. And I took only handwritten notes in college because I was convinced that if I took any notes on my laptop, I would just not remember them.
I do retain things better when I handwrite them down.
I think
I
that's
never had
proven.
any strategy. I think I've tried them all. Turns out ADHD medication is the secret trick for me.
Turns out microdosing amphetamines works. and as it should.
Which has been very helpful for this podcast because it's so much easier to take notes now and retain the information that I'm learning.
Yeah. How are you doing? How's your week been? Your weekend been?
I'm good. I didn't win the lottery, but
oh yeah, it was at like $1 billion, wasn't it? Or something?
Yeah. And I actually have beef with lotto.com.
Okay.
Because Mac, our dear friend, she told me about it. Actually, I think my coworker told me about it, but at the same time that Mac was also texting me about it. And she told me that you could go buy them online and it's easier to keep track of. You don't lose them, which is important for how I operate. And they need to like verify your location. And it kept saying it couldn't verify my location. And then I had all of my location services turned on and it kept saying it. And no matter what device I tried to use, it wouldn't work. And so I ended up going to Walmart and using a lottery machine to get the tickets. Did not win. No. I did, one of my tickets did have the first number right.
Oh, wow.
But I don't think I get anything for that. I think you need like at least 2 or something.
You need like
Mac won like $4, but
heck yeah.
I texted her this morning and said, did we win the lottery? And she said, I think I won $4. And then she said, it's a day of NFL football and grilling out for friends though. So who really won the lottery? Me.
That's so kind. That's so dad of her.
I said, stop being cute. It's weird.
Stop that immediately.
I have a change of topic.
Yes, please.
Considering, what's my word? It's about the last episode. Herculaneum Pompeii.
Herculaneum. You were, I will say, you might have upset the Pompeii crowd with the description of the episode. I just read it a couple of days ago, and I was like, damn, she really went for Pompeii's throat.
Was I that mean?
No, you just like, you focus in on something, and then you're like, Pompeii.
Oh, yeah. Everyone talks about Pompeii, justice for Herculaneum.
I know.
I mean, Pompeii was my first, ancient obsession. So, like, credit where credit is due. I just feel bad for Herculaneum.
Yeah.
But what I have to say about that, later that night, I had consumed some THC. And I just was thinking, like, ghosts have always been real. If we believe they're real now.
Yes.
So assuming that, there's probably like a ton of ghosts walking around Pompeii and Herculaneum. And I want to know what they think about the assumptions we made based on their art. Like,
what do you mean?
What I put in parentheses is bathroom brothel.
Oh, do you mean the like...
I don't remember. It was too long ago now for me to even remember what that was.
The thing in Pompeii that was, they think it was a brothel because it has the various positions you can ask for depicted on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Like, what if they were like, no, we just...
Well, they don't have modern standards, do they?
Well, I mean, it depends on the type of ghost, I guess, because I guess there's some that are like stuck in their time, but then there's some that are aware of the changing of time. I like
to think of ghosts now after... I think this is my definitive answer about ghosts. Besides residual hauntings, which I do think exist, My opinion on ghosts is that they're all like the show Ghosts, not the American version, the British one, wherein they all, if they died at that place, that's where they stay.
Yeah.
Unless they get they call it the great sucking off.
Yeah.
Which is when they get like beamed up, and that's never explained. That's never explained why, like, what the great sucking off is. Like, they just whoop.
That's interesting
because
in the US one they like immediately explain it.
Really? So they know what happens?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I guess they call it like it's their version of like ascending. I just assumed. Maybe they don't specifically say it, and I just assumed.
They don't. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like it's just discussed quite a bit in the British one, because there's a whole episode where they all think that they're like one of the ghosts thinks that they're gonna get sucked off. Like all of them are gonna get sucked off, or one of them is gonna get sucked off, and like they all spend like the whole day very like philosophically like considering what the great sucking off is. And then there's an episode where one of the characters gets sucked off in the middle of the day, just randomly, and like so they're like, well, how do you know when it's gonna happen? How do we know what the next life is gonna be like?
Whoa.
And then there's also the concept of not all people turn into ghosts. Because this is like an ancient, or like not ancient, but like a manor house, like a very old manor house, like a medieval manor house. And so they're like ghosts from throughout the ages, starting in like Paleolithic or Neolithic, like to like the early 2000s. And the very first episode is where the last owner of the house dies in her bed in the house, and like she sees all of the ghosts, like her spirit comes up out of her body and she sees all of the ghosts, and then she gets sucked off immediately. So
that's how the American one starts too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a carbon copy.
I think, yeah. But I still, like, I have been told, and also, without even having to see it, agree that the original is going to be better.
Yeah. I mean, it's very good. Yeah.
But we started with the American one, and so now I feel like we're in too deep and we're attached to some of the ghosts.
Yeah. I do think that that's how ghosts work, though. I want to believe that that's how ghosts work. That they're just like hanging out, trying to interfere when they can. But like how like there's a gray lady.
Like, if I was gonna be a ghost, I don't think I would wanna. I wouldn't like it if I was stuck in the place that I died, which I guess,
of course, not,
is maybe is kind of the point.
Yeah, but I don't think that's
like, if you're a ghost, then I think you have like unresolved. I wish you could choose when you die. Like,
yeah, I think
do you want to stick around for a bit, or do you want to go ahead and get sucked off? You know?
Yeah, I don't know, because it's like it's so interesting, because the character in Ghost that gets sucked off randomly is like she doesn't necessarily like come to terms with anything. Like, she just gets sucked off, and there's no like resolution of like what happened. She just goes.
Weird.
And so it's kind of like, I think though they don't give you a definitive answer in that show because they want you to form your own opinion. Like, if something in your mental whatever resolves and then you get sucked off, or if you get sucked off immediately because you have no regrets or what have you, or if you died in a really traumatic way, I don't know. Like, yeah.
Another Herculaneum Pompeii Vesuvius.
Yeah, that just got real deep for you asking if they were embarrassed of the brothel pictures. I'm like, yeah, I do think the dick on the wall is probably.
I do want to discuss ghosts more, but I think we should wait for our spooky month episodes.
Yeah, possibly. I do think they probably find it embarrassing that there's dicks on the wall, but at the same time,
like, what if we're just so wrong and they're just standing there all the time, like, you know?
Yeah.
Have we ever brought a medium in there?
Or they're really embarrassed of like
Someone send Zach
the
Bagel
tourist
Bites
taking pictures of it.
Herculaneum.
Do not send back Zach Bagel Bites there. Do not let that man
Send anyone
do tax write-offs for international travel. That is a horrible idea. I hate that man. He's so dramatic and annoying.
Okay, put Aaron, or no, who's the guy that he
his
always bullies? That his wife tried to kill him.
Yeah, Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah, just let Aaron go.
Yeah,
Zach
that's fine.
Isn't invited. Okay, yeah. So
I don't know if you could even do a medium though. Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't know if you could do a medium situation because it's so big that it's like.
Well, I mean, yeah,
where do you start?
Like, you think it'll be too loud?
I think it'll be like too much. Yeah, and too ancient possibly. Because what if they've all been sucked off? You don't know.
That's true. They could have all been sucked off. I don't know, because when you die, like,
a lot of
a lot of these people probably. Is this even going to be allowed on YouTube?
Oh, we're going to have to like explicit, just like at the wazoo.
I did decide I was going to try really hard not to curse.
Well, that's good.
Least. But
I already
we have said sucked off probably past the threshold of allowed usage of the term.
What's YouTube's limit? I guess we'll find out. Anyways,
the other one. There's like probably other, like, definitely like other cities that were buried in this, right?
I think so. I would imagine so.
I would, like, there's no way that Pompeii and Herculaneum were the only two.
No, but maybe there's
probably just actual cities on top of the other ones, so they can't.
Yeah, or could the
well, I guess they have
destroyed stuff as well. Just like
for sure.
Leveled it rather than preserving it.
Probably. I don't remember how rocky
something to think about.
Explosion was. But, like, there's definitely probably other cities down there.
One would think, yeah.
Justice for the undiscovered cities.
Okay. We're going to die on that.
I'm off of Herculaneum now. I've moved on.
Suddenly, where the rich white folks stay at is not really your concern.
No. Do I have any other notes? I mean, I have a lot.
I don't have.
Did I tell you I rode a conveyor belt?
Did you?
My first ever conveyor belt, not including like the airport,
the moving sidewalks.
Things. Yeah. No, it was
for you to take off. Clearly,
the human runways.
The human runways, as opposed to the plane ones.
It was when I went to visit Allie in Austin, and we did a cave tour, and the way to get out of the cave is to stand on a conveyor belt, and it just kind of slowly moves you up.
We have those in grocery stores here, which I find quite fun.
For my like shopping carts and stuff?
Yeah, my Aldi in Seville had one. They have them at like IKEA, don't they? The human conveyor belts.
At IKEA, I think, at least the ones I've been to, they just have the big elevators. Or wait, no, yeah. Well, it's like an escalator.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, it is. It's just a flat escalator.
Yeah, but I think the ones at IKEA, because like the cart will just the cart
sort of locks into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the cool. Like, I thought that was quite cool about Aldi in Seville, because I lived. I live in the city center now, but all the grocery stores are one level here. I lived in the city center, and there was an Aldi that was spread over 2 floors, and yeah, if you had a cart, like the cart wheels had a little break in it that, like, once you got onto the human conveyor belt, it just sort of locked into it.
And did you get to ride with it?
Yeah.
See, at the IKEA ones, I think
it's separate, isn't it?
Go separate, yeah.
But I'm happy for you that you rode the conveyor belt. That's very exciting.
Yeah, it was really fun. They taught us how to stand on it and everything. Because it's like going up, so you walk on it while you just gotta, they're like, just keep walking and then stand like a surfer. And so I did that.
It's because it's like at an angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
That was fun. I, too, can now say that I've ridden a conveyor belt.
Very good.
Oh, board game idea. Trademark. No one steal this. Do you remember that show Silent Library?
Yeah, I only watched
That
it
was
a couple
on, I think,
times.
MTV.
It's on MTV.
That, but as like I don't know how you would do it as a board game, but like a game.
I don't
And
remember
so
the concept. Isn't it just like
So it
tasks?
was like they had to complete these different tasks while remaining under a certain noise
Decibel
level.
level.
And I feel like
So
that would
what?
be a fun game to play.
It would be a fun game. You could probably. I don't know how much are decibel counters. how much does that cost?
I'm not look into it though.
Cost benefit analysis of
Do you
this board
think the
game for me,
show
please.
still owns the name?
I mean, it's
Trademark,
empty.
copyright?
Why don't you look into it?
I don't know. I think I will look into it, and I think no one else listening to this should look into it because I'm going to. TM.
TM.
If I can.
Patent pending. Thanks.
Yeah. Have I told you that I need to rewatch old American Idol?
No, but that. Yeah.
Specifically for David Cook when he sang Leave a Light On, and Adam Lambert when he sang Mad World. Those were two pretty canon events for me.
Okay.
And I think I would like to relive them as an adult.
That's fair.
And see if it has the same effect.
Hey, did you know that I do that, but with games?
What do you mean?
Like, a couple weeks ago,
like Barbie.com?
Well, yeah, but not on Barbie.com. You have to, like, play it on a third-party website that's kind of sketchy now. But, like, yeah, I was, like, not having a good day a couple weeks ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just really tired. And also, I get quite overstimulated when it's really hot here. And so I was sitting on the bed, and then I got off work, and I was like, I would like to play some Barbie games. And so I did. I looked it up. That was healing and comforting to me. So I can imagine that watching American Idol would feel the same.
Yeah. One time when I was angry about something, just in general, I was in the car with Aiden, and he let me take over the aux, and I just put Adam Lambert's American Idol Mad World on repeat.
That's
and I
fair.
felt better.
If you felt better, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Did you ever play Polly Pocket? I feel like that was a similar.
I played
like
those games.
A Coke or Pepsi situation was like Barbie or Polly Pocket. Which one?
Oh no, better? I was involved with all of those blonde girls.
Yeah, I would go around to all the websites. There was one that you could like dress up celebrities. Do you remember that? Did you play that one? I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah. That's very vaguely familiar.
Like you could pick Justin Bieber and dress him up in an outfit.
Yeah.
And then you could.
But I think that was just like Girls Go Games, wasn't it?
Oh, it was like a specific website, like Star Dresser, something like that. I remember I got on it in high school to see if it still existed, and it like pretty much everything was hidden behind a paywall.
Classic. My Scene. What do you know about My Scene dolls? You ever heard of them?
Yeah.
It was like a Barbie, like urban offshoot.
Yeah, like, I was obsessed.
They wanted to be like Chelsea girls, like like very cool, very.
Yeah, they also they remind me of the. Yeah, I remember My Scene.
Yeah.
What was that? There was a cartoon show of all these kids that worked in a mall. It was Canadian. I watched it 16, but the 6 is the number 6 and then teen.
Hold on. Oh, these people look vaguely familiar. These look like My Scene dolls.
Yeah. I think so a few years ago, I just randomly woke up and remembered this show. But what I was picturing in my head was the My Scene
dolls.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I couldn't think of what they were called at the time. But yeah, I was obsessed with the...
Huge fan of the My Scene makeover game.
Yeah.
I did play that a couple of weeks ago as well. The makeover game, and then there's also one where you can choose the setting, and then the setting... Wait. The clothes that you get to dress them up in are dependent on the setting. And so, like, if you are doing, like, a club birthday night, it's, like, then you get to pick different outfits than if you were doing like relaxing at home. That one.
I also loved all the ones where you could decorate rooms, which obviously was my thing. I think the star dresser one, I remember getting on it in high school, and I think you could design your whole, like, different rooms in your house. But I don't remember how that tied into dressing celebrities. Maybe I'm thinking of something. Maybe it was I don't know. I think I know what my plans for the day are.
Yeah, fair. And also, if there's also games, I've thought about this quite a bit too. There's games, game walkthroughs on YouTube, because then you don't actually have to do anything. Like, you can just, because I played a bunch of the American Girl doll games as well, but they're so like jumpy and stuff that I think I would have rather
American
just
Girl
like
doll was brought up on the podcast. Zero.
Once again, we don't escape the grip of the American Girl doll company.
This podcast is unofficially sponsored.
If American Girl doll wants to sponsor us, I would absolutely
That'd
do an ad read for them. But that is, but children don't.
Considering that they're closing down a lot of their stores, I'm not sure if they have the budget to. Not that we come at a price. We're talking about them for free every episode.
We would talk about them for free if necessary.
Well, we should have like a side podcast that's just American Girl doll discussion.
We kind of could, though. Like, explain, like, reading all the books and watching all the movies.
That'd be fun. Did you ever have Hopscotch Hill? Like, under the American Girl doll banner, there was Hopscotch Hill dolls, Bitty Babies, and then American Girls.
Yes. I didn't have I did not have Hopscotch Hill.
I started with Hopscotch Hill because all of their limbs are bendable. And so my parents knew I couldn't destroy them. I got them. I was going, when I went to Houston a couple weeks ago to visit my cousin, I brought her down a couple American Girl dolls to give her kids. And I was going through all of the boxes that my parents had, and there were Hopscotch Hill dolls in there that are so old their elastic that keeps their head on had been stretched out, and so all of their heads were just like that. And you would try to put it up, and then it would just go back.
Sorry, that was probably really loud.
Maybe these can be toys that they have here to play with.
I had
and then I had Bitty Babies.
I had a lot of these books, but I never had the dolls.
I ended up just bringing all of the books to my cousin's daughter.
I just saw a picture on Google of like what happened to your dolls.
Yeah.
Neck and their
limbs are all just like hanging.
Yeah. I did not have that, but I did have. Maybe you'll recall this. I did have a Bitty Baby. First of all, I got a Bitty Baby when my sister was born, with a little like wicker suitcase, and it had all of her clothes in it. Mm-hmm. And I remember my Grammy coming in and being like, "Now here's your Bitty Baby," and like I had all of her little like outfits. She had red hair. It was very cute. Like my sister.
Cute. I didn't know they had. My parents never got me a redheaded Bitty Baby.
Well, I got one because she was blonde. Yeah. One's plural is crazy.
I think I had two.
Okay. And then also, I remember, this is like a story that my dad loves to tell. Betty Spagetty. Are you familiar with her?
Yeah. Whoa. There's so much coming up today that I haven't thought about. Right? Micey dolls, Betty Spagetty.
Oh my god, they were so fun.
Yes. I never got one, I don't think. But I would always play with them at the toy store.
Yeah. I had several.
Fiddlesticks.
I had several, and that was actually my first. That was my first show and tell at the KinderCare where I went after school, and my dad just happened to walk in while I was doing my show and tell with Betty Spagetty, but parts not exactly like sturdy. So I was like, "This is my Betty Spagetty." Oh, there goes her foot. Oh, there goes your arm. Oh no, there's her hair fell off. But this is my Betty Spagetty, and that's like one of my dad's favorite stories to tell. I'm just like confidently like showing this doll that's just a torso at a certain point.
By the end, you're like, this is Mrs. Potato Head.
This is Betty Spagetty's head. The children are crying. Why is the doll falling apart?
The doll slowly get dismembered.
That's what the show and tell was. It was a slow dismemberment of Betty Spagetty. Bless her heart.
Man. I don't remember what I ended up with, but I vividly remember being so stressed about my first show and tell, because your show and tell tells everyone in the classroom everything they need to know about you. Yours is that you like dismemberment.
They had a penchant for dismemberment, if you will.
Sociopath testing.
No, obviously not. I didn't want her to get dismembered. I was just trying to show everyone my Betty Spagetty. And then there was also another thing that said a lot about people was in my choir class when I was in 6th grade, at the beginning of the year, like when you did this little like get to know me sheet for the teacher, you got to put one song that she would play at the beginning of class. And mine was the Victorious theme song.
I mean,
and then
fair.
It played like you didn't know when she was gonna play it, and then like I came in one day probably like halfway through it was very cool in August whenever I like assigned myself the Victorious theme song, and then by mid-year, like possibly the spring, she played it, and it was not cool at that point, and so everyone in the class was like, oh my god, who wanted the Victorious theme song? And I was like,
oh no.
No! I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell a soul. That's the first time I've admitted that to anyone. So.
And you're doing it here in front of God and everyone.
God and everybody.
Wow.
Anyways, sorry.
Confession.
That said a lot about you as a 6th grader, as a 12-year-old.
The song you chose.
At the
I don't
beginning
remember
of
what I chose. My version of that was probably in high school. I was in a playwriting class, and our first assignment was to choose a song and write a scene based off of it. And this was when Ed Sheeran was like really big.
Yes.
And I was obsessed with the I See Fire song from
As You Would
Be. The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings?
It's from The Hobbit, yeah. I was also obsessed with that song, for the record.
I would just play it on repeat in the car and be belting.
Same.
I might go do that.
It's a belter of a song. I'm sorry.
It is so fun to sing.
It holds up. I listened to it a couple months ago, and I was
it's so good.
It's a great song.
But
anyways,
when you're a theater kid, everyone has like he was a pretty mainstream artist, but theater kids like more.
What did these kids want? The Arctic Monkeys, the 1975, Tame Impala,
Creep.
Zombie by the Cranberries.
Okay, that is a killer song though.
It's an incredible song. I'm not saying it's a bad song.
I mean,
Creep,
they were.
Creep is also not a bad song.
But Ed Sheeran was really showed the student council kid in me.
Yeah, certainly.
Which isn't necessarily the side of me that I wanted to come out when I was in theater zone. No. But I was obsessed with that song. And so I wrote a scene based off of it. And we were going through and we would read the scene or listen to the song, then read the scene. And I think I took mine a little more literally than everybody else. Because I was writing the lyrics into the script.
It's a song about the Hobbit as well. So
yeah,
you can...
but it had nothing it really my scene. I don't think my scene was much related to the Hobbit. I think I just was found a way to put the lyrics into the script.
Okay,
I'm a horrible playwright. Should be mentioned. I just wanted to spend as much time in the black box that I could, and that was my class option. And I knew I wouldn't. I'm good at writing, but I'm really bad at playwriting.
That's fine though, because you're high school.
So that whole class, I was just getting by on personality.
Yeah.
I wrote one really good scene actually, but that was when I wrote myself into it so I could have a Minnesota accent.
Good, very good.
That's the only scene I've ever been proud of. Anywho, maybe we should. This has been like
maybe
an hour.
We should start the podcast. Weird, because I just thought of another time I embarrassed myself in high school by picking a song. So it was "Cherry Wine" by Hosier, and it was in my health class. There was a lot of cool guys in that class. That's
okay, but Hosier's cool.
I know, but
I guess that song was probably overplayed at that point.
No, it wasn't overplayed. I was trying to not do the thing.
I support the song personally.
Thank you. I was trying to not do the victorious thing in this class, and so therefore I chose a song about domestic violence, obviously. And then my health. I know, he was like, pick out your favorite song, and so I picked out my favorite song at the time. Yeah. And then he like introduced it. I'll never forget how he introduced it, because obviously he was a basketball coach. He's a health teacher.
Yeah.
And he was like, "This is Cherry Wine by Hosier." And I was like, that is not the right mood for this song. That is not the right mood for this song, please. And then we all just had to sit there and get sad together. And I was like, this is a horrible, horrible idea. Why did I do this?
There's so much pressure for choosing.
And why did they make us do that? I was 16. You're just going to embarrass everyone. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, never ask a 16-year-old what their favorite thing is.
No, because it's going to change.
Because either immediately after or a couple years after, they're going to look back
and be mortified.
Have to have a whole therapy session over it.
Yep.
Okay, well, maybe we should.
Anyways, let's get into the podcast. We can cut some of that out, surely.
Whatever the boring parts are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, today I'm talking about Nudibranchs. I'm going to call them Nudibranchs. Sea slugs.
The sea slugs?
Yes. Well, a type of sea slug. My iPad's on 9%, so we'll see how long this lasts.
Awesome.
So nudibranchs are marine mollusks, like octopuses, but they have no shell. They rely on other defense systems, which is basically taking weapons from their prey and using it for themselves.
Very good. So they're raiders. They're Vikings, essentially.
Of sorts.
Of sorts. Of the sea. Vikings of the sea.
They hang out mostly in shallow water habitats, but they do live worldwide and can live as deep as 2,300 feet or 700 meters.
Wow.
If you're into meters. Yeah. They feed on, it is kind of species dependent. They have different tastes, obviously. Everyone has a different taste.
Yes.
But they typically feed on sponges, corals, anemones, hydroids, which are...
Hydroid?
Yeah, so those are like stinging creatures, basically.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, so it's like jellyfish and anemones.
Anemones?
Yeah, I'm never going to get that right.
Anemone.
I am going to blame Finding Nemo for that.
That's fair.
Anemone. Anemone. Yeah, there's an M between the ends.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Whoever named those.
Yeah.
Not smart.
So they eat those.
Good.
Tunicates, algae, sometimes other nudibranchs. Their predators are fish, crabs, turts. And other nudibranchs.
Obviously. They're just cannibalizing each other.
They are both predator and prey to them. They're their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Their pretty colors can be camouflage to like blend in with anemones and stuff, and can also be served as a warning, like most brightly colored creatures.
Objects in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, objects in general. You're right. So the life cycle of a nudibranch, I wrote these in steps. Step 1, egg. They So they lay their eggs in these long kind of ribbony spirals or clusters. Most of them like that. Some lay different, like unique egg masses, but usually attached to rocks or seaweed, etc.
The word egg mass just sent a chill through me. I hope you know.
Sorry.
hate eggs in any formation.
That's fair.
Gross.
I get creeped out by it when I see eggs on like the leaves of my plants, or just any plants. Freaks me out. Or there's a type of fern that has it's not eggs, but the back of the fern has these dots. I don't want to think about it. I'm gonna not go off topic so that I don't have to do that.
Hold on, can I open my shade a little bit?
Yeah.
Is that fine? Yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Scene.
Okay. So they can lay a few eggs or up to 1 million at a time, depending on the species. Maybe more. There was one article that said they could lay like 25 million eggs, but they were citing sea hares, which technically aren't nudibranchs. They're sea slugs, but they're not nudibranchs. They have sort of a shell, technically, in a way.
But there's
but they can lay 1 million.
There's sea slugs that can lay 25 million eggs.
It's the one. I think it's the one that the sea hares. The one I showed you a picture of me holding it. It's really big and black and goopy.
Goopy. Yes.
So that's the egg stage.
Mm-hmm. Step 1.
Step 1, egg. Step 2. Oh, I did not look up how to pronounce this, so we're just gonna wing it. I shouldn't do that. Hang on. Pause. Okay. Step 2. Villager.
Villager.
So this is the larval stage, and it can take anywhere from a few days or weeks to several months, depending on the species, egg size, and water temperature. And this is like a microscopic stage. They're very, very small. They do have a small shell at this point and a pair of cilia, which are kind of hair-like appendages that they use to move through the water. Mm-hmm. And they feed on algae and plankton because they're just little guys, so they can't eat the big guys yet. Yeah. And they grow until they're ready to metamorphosis into a pretty butterfly. I was feeling goofy this section.
Clearly.
Because I have random stupid stuff that I wrote down.
Into a pretty butterfly.
Until they metamorphosis into an adult nudibranch. Good. So during the larval stage, they can disperse and colonize new areas. They kind of just float around for a while, then find a nice spot to settle down and start a family. That's not true. It's just when they find
That's not true.
They find a spot to settle down and metamorphose. Metamorphose. That where they end up depends on chemical cues from the environment, which is typically like where their preferred food is where they'll hang out. Some species don't have the, how did I say it was pronounced? The villager stage, and go from egg to immature adult directly.
Oh, wow.
And then step 3 is adult. So once the villager larvae have metamorphosed, which includes losing their shell, it becomes an adult. And they'll just feed and grow and eventually find a mate to reproduce. Adults usually live for a year at most, which is kind of sad. Mating. They're both. Nudibranchs are hermaphrodites. They're so small and spread out that scientists think it helps them to increase reproduction.
Yeah. I mean, and
so
when you have to
when
lay
mating,
eggs,
they extend they extend their penis on their right sides to the vagina that's right next to it on the other nudibranch, and then they can both lay eggs. It's like a sideways 69. Kind of, but
not true.
Well, not in the technical sense, but in the sense that they're facing opposite directions so that their spots line up with where they're supposed to go into the other one. Yeah, thank you. I blanked on the word genitals.
But do they have to, can they just tell, who's going to use what today, or?
They both use both, so they both lay eggs. So, they'll come up here, and they'll both stick their penises into the other one's vagine.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, I don't have much more to say about that.
And then they both go off and lay their eggs. So
1 million of them.
That's mating in the life cycle of nudibranchs.
Good.
There are over 3,000 species of nudibranch that exist so far that we know.
So far.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't discovered or explored much of the ocean, so
true. Yeah.
Assuming
I was
there's
just
more.
talking to Macy about this week. She knows a lot of things that scare me. So
she does. It's the best.
80% of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So nudibranchs can roughly be divided into two types of body forms. There's dorid and aeolid. Dorid nudibranchs are mostly smooth but have a circular plume of gills, the brachial plume, on the center of their reel. I call them butthole gills. And they extract oxygen from the water, and they look kind of like feathers, if that makes sense. Like they just kind of branch out more. And then they have their rhinophores, which look like antennas or bunny ears. And they, similar to like an octopus's arms, they detect I said smell and vibrations and smell. They detect like smell and vibrations and taste and stuff. And then all sea slugs have rhinophores, by the way, not just dorids.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So aeolid nudibranchs can use like a sponge's secondary metabolic toxins and pigments for their own defenses. So basically, they munch on the sponge and then use the toxins on the sponge don't affect them, and so they can use those toxins and also the colors of the sponge for themselves. Like they'll kind of turn into the same color as the sponge.
That's crazy.
And then they use the toxins so that they taste bad.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's like when your pee smells like asparagus, but if you could use it willingly.
If you could use your asparagus pee as a weapon.
Yeah. To fight off predators.
Oh my god, asparagus reminds me. I lost my Red Lobster virginity.
Oh, good. Why does asparagus remind you of that?
Because we had a whole conversation about sides, and I was trying to decide between asparagus and mac and cheese, but it really just came down to the pea. I didn't want to deal with that.
That's fair.
So I went with the mac and cheese.
I do love mac and cheese. I love Red Lobster.
Lobster was also good.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyway, back to what
I will not be taking any outside opinions on
that. So when threatened, they can pull their brachial plume into themselves and just kind of go rigid.
Okay.
And they're like, don't look at me. If I don't move, you can't see me.
They're like...
And I guess they just kind of hope that either the animal can't see them or that they take a lick and realize they don't taste good.
Yeah.
Because they're toxic.
Yeah.
So that's Dorid nudibranchs. And then there's Aeolid nudibranchs. And they have a body that's covered in serrata, which are little finger-like extensions. It kind of looks like a mane. And that's how they breathe, sort of like the brachial plume on dorids. The serrata increases the surface area for gas exchange. And they also contain branches of the digestive tract, which can be visible in some species. So the tips of their serrata contain the cnidosacs, which have nematocysts, which are stinging cells that they steal from like jellyfish and anemones. So they munch on the anemone, and then since their digestive tract goes into each of their serrata, they are able to extract the stinging cells, and then that goes into the cnidosacs at the tip of their little...
That's crazy.
Yeah, so then when the nudibranch feels threatened, those shoot off the nematocysts. They're like, yeah, sting you. That study I read showed them curling around the object they used to disturb it. Scientifically speaking, they poked it with a spatula.
Yeah.
And they kind of like it curved around the spatula. And they think that it did that to better aim the nematocysts. It looked kind of like, have you ever touched an anemone? Or I've probably shown you pictures when you touch an anemone and it kind of like grabs your finger.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looked like. I'm assuming it's probably a similar mechanism. And then their colors for aeolids more so serve as a warning. So Dorids typically, I would say, more so use their colors to hide. Aeolids do it to be like,
to warn people.
You don't want this.
You don't want to eat me.
I got a lot going on in here.
And beautiful.
Yeah.
And I sting
There
you.
are exceptions to these two kinds of nudibranchs. There's so many and they're so different that like even within the sections there's families and super families and it gets so there's just so many. So there's two more main types of nudibranchs. There's the Dendronotida, which have stretched rectangular bodies with serrata that branch out at the edges. So it kind of looks like the brachial plume of a Dorid nudibranch and how they kind of look like feathers. But it's the serrata all along their back. Like the aeolids, if that makes sense. So it's like the brachial plume and the serrata had a baby. And then there is Arminida. Sure. And they have teardrop shaped and flattened bodies and have like these striped kind of ridges along the length of their body. And the pictures I saw, they were all kind of beigey yellow with white ridges. And their status as a nudibranch is apparently being debated. So.
Wow.
Yeah, they might be taken out of the nudibranchs and just under like the guise of sea slugs. Some look like both aeolid and Dorid nudibranchs. The Hopkins rose nudibranch looks like it has serrata down its back, but also has a brachial plume on its butt. But their serrata aren't serrata. They're actually papillae and function differently. Now on to just the largest, the smallest, and my favorites.
Perfect.
So the largest nudibranch is the Spanish dancer.
Ooh.
Or the Hexabranchus sanguineus. The Spanish dancer. We don't need to do scientific names. It's not that deep. So the Spanish dancer is a Dorid nudibranch, so it has smooth body, plume on its butt. Its average length is 20 to 30 centimeters. Centimeters?
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 Sorry, I was trying to type and look up this nudibranch. Centimeters.
Yeah, I think a fun thing about now that we're going to include the video is I can put pictures up.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
I was talking to Aiden this morning about how I do things that are so visual.
Yeah.
But it's a podcast.
Indeed you do.
Anyhow, yeah, Spanish dancer. It is a Dorid nudibranch. I already went through all that. Yeah,
how
20
many
to 30 centimeters. So it can be like...
That's big.
Yeah, like a foot or two.
The question on Google is, what is the flamenco sea creature?
Yeah, so that is how it got its name.
It looks like a flamenco dress.
They're like a orangey red. Sometimes they have white speckled dots. But
they're weird
yeah,
looking.
It looks like a red skirt during a flamenco dance.
Yeah.
Is how it got the Spanish dancer name. So they crawl along the sea floor, but they'll swim when threatened, and that's when it looks like it's a skirt.
Dancing.
They hide away from sunlight, so they're typically in cracks and crevices during the day. It's easiest to find them at night, is when they'll go out and around. And they have a symbiotic relationship with emperor shrimp. So the shrimp will feed on parasites that live on the nudibranch's body, and then the nudibranch provides the shrimp transportation.
So it's a bus.
Ain't that cute?
Essentially.
Nudibus.
The nudibus.
So that's the largest type of nudibranch. Again, when I looked this up, people brought up the sea hare, but the sea hare is technically not a nudibranch. If this was about sea slugs in general, the sea hare would be in the running, if not the largest. So the smallest nudibranch, they're all kind of small, so there's not really like a specific smallest one. There's a couple that are just very, very small. So there's dodos, D-O-T-O. And they are usually less than 15 millimeters long. And they feed on hydroids, so the stingy guys. And they also lay their eggs on the hydroids. It's like, I'm going to eat you, then I'm going to lay my eggs on you. So.
Wow, that's...
and their serotic kind of look like bubbles. 15 millimeters. They kind of look like little bubbly guys. They're more bulbous.
1.5 centimeters. So, like, legitimately, like, that big.
Yeah, tiny. And then there is Eubranchus nudibranchs, and they top out at 7 millimeters long.
That is so little.
They're so tiny. They have kind of a pale body with olive or brownish markings all down its body, and they also lay their eggs on their prey.
But I guess it's just easier when you're that small. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's hard work to travel far enough to, like, you just had a meal and you're like, oh my god, my tummy's so full, I gotta push these eggs out right now. Kind of funny.
I can't imagine what that feels like, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Right. Can't relate.
But...
My favorite, I actually only had time to write about one of them. I have two favorites currently.
Okay.
So the one that I did fully write about is the variable neon slug, or the dusty nimbrother, and they can reach 120 millimeters or larger.
Wow. They're fun looking guys.
Yeah, those are the colors that I made my notes match.
Oh, yes. Okay. Understood. I now understand your chaotic choice to make your notes black on the background. That was insane.
White hurts my eyes. And it's more of like a navy, so joke's on you. Yeah, they can reach like 5 inches or larger. And they have a dark body with green stripes or raised dots running down the length of their body. And the borders of its foot and head are bright orange. Mm-hmm. And their rhinophores can be like a orangey red or green. Sometimes they get confused with Membrana cristata, but those guys don't have any red-orange border around their foot.
Okay.
They just got green. Some other notable mentions is the sea bunny is it's usually the first sea slug that a lot of people see.
I know about the sea bunny.
Yeah.
They're cute.
Looks like a fluffy little rabbit. My other favorite right now is the adolescent nudibranch. Actually, in my notes, I wrote Nudibranch. So...
Adolescent Nudibranch. That sounds bad. That sounds wrong.
But yeah, that's nudibranchs.
They're so pretty.
Right?
The opalescent ones. Are they bioluminescent?
They're not bioluminescent. They just have their bright colors.
Okay.
They're so pretty.
They are very pretty, yes.
Wow.
Well, that was very good. I appreciate the nudibranchs.
Yeah, I talked about them a little bit on the tide pools.
Yeah. Because I kind of thought you had done it, but no, you just did.
Well, yeah, and I also, like, I'm trying to get better about choosing smaller topics.
Yeah.
Because I choose bigger ones, and then I talk about
soil,
like,
or water,
animals within them, and then I talk about every characteristic of each of the species, and that's a long time. So I thought I would just deep dive on nudibranchs.
But, however, I do need you to do sea mysteries at some point, because that like sea creatures that we don't, that like might exist, like legendary sea creatures. I think that would be cool. Very good.
Like the Kraken?
Yeah, and like mermaids and stuff. That kind of thing. Possibly. I don't know. 80% of the ocean is unexplored. We don't actually know if they're real.
You're trying to tell me there aren't some humans that evolved to like live in the water, or just didn't evolve to come out of the water yet?
See, this is what Macy and I talked about I think that they're more fish than human. I just think they're like really long humanoid fish. Okay. Maybe that's how they...
I definitely think they're more fish than the way they're depicted in movies.
Yeah, 100%. Not Little Mermaid-esque.
Like full fish body, like color at least.
Yeah.
But then like top half human shaped.
Yeah. Humanoid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. Great job.
And that's on mermaids.
And that's on mermaids.
Anywho, your turn. Yeah, what am I learning about?
Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about Göbeklitepe. Have you ever heard of this?
No, but I like the name. Is it a person?
It's a place.
Okay.
This necessitated that I got to watch all of my history mystery shows, which I enjoy very much. So we're in southern Turkey, and it's a desert, and it's outside of this city called Şanlıurfa. That's not what it looks like, but that's how it's pronounced. I'm fairly certain. And the place that we're going is called Göbeklitepe, which means belly hill in Turkish. So it's this complex that they've found on top of a hill. It's a temple, we think? We don't know. Mm-hmm. So, but it's called Göbeklitepe because the hill that it's on top of is called Belly Hill. So, we think it was built 12,000 years ago.
Well, wait, did you say where in the world it's located? I
Turkey.
Spaced for a second. Okay, Turkey.
In a place called Şanlıurfa, Turkey. Okay, I'm back. Well, in the desert outside of that place. And so, yeah, there's a lot of names in this that I'm going to try my best. So it was built 12,000 years ago, so roughly around 9,500 BCE, and that's important that we remember that it was built in 9,500 BCE, because that date, more dates come into play here. But it was built... I can remind you. I'll remind you.
Thank you.
Okay. But it was built during what's called the pre-pottery Neolithic age. And we don't... Well, it's kind of self-explanatory why that was named that, because they didn't have pottery yet. But we don't actually know that much more about this era. We know that most humans on Earth, including in this area, which is part of the Fertile Crescent, that most people were hunter-gatherers at this time.
Okay.
But that's kind of it. So it's this massive complex that has a diameter of about 1,000 feet on top of a hill. And it was discovered on accident in 1968 by this guy who they interviewed, who is named Hasan Yildiz. And his grandfather was a farmer, and he was plowing a field, and he accidentally hit a 12,000-year-old statue with his plow. So,
ain't that just the way?
Ain't that just the way? So he hit a statue, and then, there's a whole complex.
This one's gonna be so complicated to doodle.
Anyway. Yeah, sorry.
You need to start choosing your topics based on what I'm
sorry in advance. This is just a confirmation of your skills. Anyways, so...
Or maybe this is just a sign that I need to go back to chilling out.
Could be. Yeah, could be that.
Anywho, sorry, continue.
Anyways, so there's signs that this place had been intentionally buried hundreds of years after the construction. And weirdly, just a little note on the discovery, before the discovery of Göbeklitepe itself, there was a tree on top of this hill as well that's called the wishing tree in Turkish. And so it was already a sacred site that people would come to if they wanted to pray or if they wanted to send up wishes, that kind of thing. They also did animal sacrifices here, apparently. So it's interesting to me that, like, this place was buried, no one knew about it, but for hundreds and hundreds of years, people were still using it as a sacred site. Mm-hmm. And like I said,
I wonder if it's on like a ley line.
I don't know. But I do know that it is considered to be the world's oldest temple. But that raises the core question of Göbekli Tepe, which is why? Why did a bunch of nomadic people stop in the middle of the desert and build a temple? What was their religion? Did they have a religion? Why is it so big? Why is it so carefully designed? Like, there's a lot of questions we have around this, but mostly why. So over 60 pillars make up the site, and they're arranged in these circles. So the pillars are arranged in separate circles called enclosures. And a lot of the pillars are what we think they're representative of humans or human-like things. So we think that because a lot of the pillars have belts or like loincloths or like arm-like structures that come out of them.
I kind of see, maybe.
Yeah, they're either a representation of, we don't know and we'll probably never know, but it was either like ancestors, demons, I don't know, revered deities, revered figures, we have no idea. And also these pillars are covered in carvings of predators / scavengers. So we don't really know what significance animals like snakes or foxes or vultures had. Yeah. We don't know what significance these animals had to these people. But we know that there's a lot of carvings and most of them are predators or scavengers. But what all of this together suggests, especially with the figure-like pillars and then the carvings of like very specific animals, it suggests a new religion that emerged probably around this time. So there was an accepted theory for a really long time by this guy, this archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt. And he theorized that Göbekli Tepe was just a focal point for nomadic communities to gather and sort of worship their ancestors. And that was kind of it. But now we're challenging that theory. So they went into this 2017 discovery of human skull fragments at Göbekli Tepe, wherein the skulls have been intentionally scalped and defleshed after death. Whether they were killed for some sort of religious purpose or they were already dead and then they manipulated their skulls, we don't actually know. But there's like some cuts that are just like obviously from them like taking the skin off of the skull, and then there's other cuts that are way deeper, which suggests maybe the skulls were being hung in the temple, like by ropes. Because then if you have like a deep groove, because all of the like really deep grooves are sort of in the back of the skull here, and so you could use a string to sort of stabilize the skull so it would hang without flipping to one side or the other, which all of this together could indicate that it was a skull cult that worshipped at Göbekli Tepe, which is not abnormal for this area and this region.
What is a skull cult?
So they basically venerate skulls and think that they are imbued with a certain amount of power, whether the skulls are of your ancestor or your enemy. So it's showing that you're able to conquer or you're able to gather power from ancestors, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
I just thought the phrase skull cult was really cool, so I used it. And then what we know about the builders. So to build Göbekli Tepe was probably a very involved process that took a long time, which doesn't make sense that there was nomadic hunter-gatherers doing this. So either they had already started semi-settling, so this is the part of the Fertile Crescent. And the Fertile Crescent is where agriculture started.
Mm-hmm.
So it began earlier, like agriculture in the Fertile Crescent began hundreds of years before agriculture spread throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was either A, that the building of Göbekli Tepe made them sort of settle down, or that they were already semi-settled and they wanted to build this part of their community. We don't actually know. But basically, either it's like a chicken and an egg situation. We don't know which came first.
Yeah.
But either farming led to Göbekli Tepe, or Göbekli Tepe led to farming. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about.
That's
by the
wild.
way. That's insane. So humans just decided, because they built this big old thing, they were like, well, I guess it's worth sticking around for. And yeah.
I'm adding the Fertile Crescent on my list of ideas.
Good.
Because I haven't thought about it.
So the architecture of Göbekli Tepe is a bit wild. So because like Machu Picchu, yeah, that was crazy. But we do know that the Inca were very skilled at constellations and star mapping. And so it was the 1500s. So we know a bit more about them.
Very recent.
Whereas 12,000-year-old humans don't know a lot about them.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
So we don't know how they built this place, because the three main enclosures, like I was saying, there's three main enclosures at the site. These enclosures all have pillars that are in a circle, and they form an equilateral triangle. The enclosures do, and they're all equidistant to the center of Göbekli Tepe.
Whoa!
So obviously they had some sort of knowledge of geometric how that worked.
Yeah.
We don't know how or why, really. So that's crazy. And then here's where the aliens come in, because obviously...
I knew there were going to be aliens involved.
Obviously, because it's like...
If anyone finds something on this planet that's man-ish made, there's going to be aliens involved.
It kind of makes me mad, because I'm like, you're just doubting the ingenuity of
discrediting humans. Yeah,
it's because
like, you think because they don't have iPhones they couldn't build a temple?
As modern people, we think all ancient people were just idiots, I guess, but they made a really good point in this documentary that, like, they made a great point in this documentary that we are physiologically and cognitively the same as these people. So
also, the pyramids are still standing, and my house built in the 90s
is falling apart. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, like, and we're the advanced ones.
Yeah, I know. I think about that all the time. But obviously,
maybe, but
yeah,
engineerily.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't know how they were able to measure. I'm sure it was just measuring techniques, but we don't know how they did it, and so we're like, oh, they obviously got help from the aliens. In addition to that, there's a lot of strange symbols on the pillars that we don't really know the meanings of them. So there's just things carved into the pillars that were like, I don't know what this is. I think it's like animals, like weird animals. Hold on. I'm trying to... Oh, yeah. It's kind of like a vibe of the, what's it called? The Voynich manuscript. Like, it's all like pictures that we don't know. I was trying to Google what they are.
I was trying to Google, like, my plan was to Google Göbekli Tepe weird animal pillars. But all I typed in was weird animal pillars.
Good.
There's a lot.
I'm sure that...
Oh, Göbekli Tepe does come up. Look at that.
Look at that.
They knew. Oh, yeah, this one that looks like it has wings, but also like a duck face, but also a long neck. Like that kind of thing?
Yeah. It was strange.
Huh.
Like symbols and stuff
that
are carved.
Weird.
In addition to that, I now need you to look up the Urfa man, because this is the craziest thing I've ever seen come out of an ancient structure.
How do I spell that?
URFA. Man.
Whoa.
Yeah. Right?
Is he... What's he holding?
He's got his arms over his genitals. We don't need to talk about that.
Well, I mean, I guess if he didn't want his photo taken.
Yeah, I mean...
He needed to protect...
But, okay, do you see his eyes? Oh, also, yeah, it's life-size. You need to know that. It's life-size. So it's 6 feet tall, that statue is.
Oh my god, wait, I see a picture of it, like, in the...
The eyes? What? The eyes are obsidian, so that's scary.
They were just dark holes.
No, they're obsidian. Yeah. No one explained that. No one explained, like, why this thing had obsidian eyes to me.
That's crazy.
So
they just said
there's that.
Obsidian.
Yeah.
Huh.
Not wild. Back to
it's not a deep fee.
The Urfa man. It is not a. They were not into V-necks. Weirdly, no. It was a necklace, but they don't know what this necklace is. They don't know what it means. They just know that it probably suggests, like, the presence of jewelry probably suggests high status, but it just looks kind of weird. Like, he just looks a bit weird. Kind of looks like Dilbert to me, like the convict. So it's kind of like...
It's got a really long torso.
Yeah. All of this together, plus the obsidian eyes, fuels the alien theories. Because basically what it does is it links to this group of deities that are known to be from the Fertile Crescent called the Anunnaki. So the Anunnaki were supposedly, well, they're not supposedly, they were deities that were worshipped for millennia by, they were first written of by the Sumerians, the Sumerians being the people who invented writing. So, you know the cuneiform tablets. I'm sure you've seen things like that. It's the
Sumerians?
first, like...
I'm thinking of Lumerians, right? I'm thinking of what I'm covered on, and that's why we...
Yes, yeah, you're thinking of Lumerians. At Mount Shasta, yeah. The Sumerians were an actual people.
I do know them as well, but
they invented a plow. They invented
the
plow. They invented writing. They are the ones who...
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Casual.
So the Anunnaki were actually written about by the Sumerians because they were these all-powerful beings that were worshipped by a lot of people in the Fertile Crescent and were, like, feared like deities. So it's a fringe theory, but that basically the theory is that the Anunnaki are extraterrestrials who came, sounding more and more like the Book of Mormon, who came down from space and 500,000 years ago enslaved ancient civilizations, and they were the ones that decorated the earth with ancient monuments. They were the ones that sort of were able to...
They were the exterior decorators.
Yeah, the exterior decorators, the extraterrestrial decorators, that sort of directed all of the building of these monuments, and that's why they're so crazy. Again, this just doubts that humans were sophisticated enough to be able to do this all for themselves. When we know that they were sophisticated enough to do this. So I don't buy into the alien thing, but whatever. You can believe what you want to believe. It gets crazy even without aliens. So just...
It's already crazy. It's
already nuts. So it gets crazier without aliens. So now we're going to talk about the Vulture Stone. So this is technically called Pillar 43, but colloquially called the Vulture Stone. And it's potentially the Rosetta Stone of the site. What that means. This was posited by this guy, this archaeologist from University of Edinburgh. And his name is Dr. Martin Sweatman, which is a horrible name. But basically he posits that the Vulture Stone is a map of the night sky, and it depicts constellations. It suggests that the dates, dates are recorded on the stone, like carved into the stone, via the presence of equinoxes and solstices. So there's like certain symbols on the pillar that represent, and to him, that represent an equinox or a solstice. And so it's like he thinks that means that that's how they're dating this pillar. Jaw lock.
All good. Yep.
We're good.
We're back.
So it's called the vulture stone because the vulture itself, he thinks, well, it's because it's a vulture, but there's vulture on it. But
that was the thing that he thinks was saying. It's like a duck with a long neck.
Yeah, no, that's a vulture. Sorry.
It does. Now that I hear vulture, it does look more like a vulture.
Yeah, but basically, what Dr. Sweatman posits is that the vulture is the Sagittarius constellation, and they had just made up because it aligns with the Sagittarius constellation, and they had just made up their own constellations essentially. It kind of makes sense, but we'll talk about that in a second. I also just thought that this quote was really funny from the show. There's a carving of a headless human. Okay. He says, "What does the carving of this headless man represent? Probably it represents death." I was like, yeah, wow. Maybe. Thank you so much. That was so insightful.
Thank you.
Can't believe who edited that and left that in, because insane. There's also, so there's another pillar that they think is related to pillar 43, and this is pillar 33. And they think that this is also possibly from a constellation because it's a fox and then there's a bunch of snakes coming out of it. And they think that the snakes might symbolize meteors. Which brings us to the Younger Dryas theory. So, like I said...
Wait, hang on, I'm going to look at the... Oh, I see. Oh, cool.
Yeah. It kind of does look like a meteor tail coming down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which brings us to the Younger Dryas theory. Like I said, Pillar 43 is possibly a sky map, is possibly a constellation map. So when I say constellation map, that doesn't necessarily, just because Sagittarius was in their night sky does not necessarily mean it was in the same place in their night sky, because the Earth's axial tilt means that the stars were in different places 12,000 years ago to where they are now, because it tilts.
Yeah.
And so using the pillar carvings and using the Earth's axial tilt that we know it was at, we can actually sort of guesstimate when this night sky map was supposed to depict, like what year it was supposed to depict. So like I said, Göbeklitepe was built 9500 BCE. They think that the night sky that is mapped on Pillar 43 is depicted of 10,800 to 10,900 BCE. So a little less than 1,000 years before.
Whoa.
Why is that? Because they think that there could have been a massive comet impact around this time. So the theory then is that Göbekli Tepe was built to commemorate this comet impact and sort of ritualize or make religion out of this event. Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
And this relates to the Younger Dryas theory, because the Younger Dryas was a period that started about 13,000 years ago. So right timeline. And it was a sudden, rapid cooling. And we know this happened, and we are not really sure why. One theory is that it could have been a massive impact event. So we know that the Younger Dryas happened. We know that the Earth cooled very rapidly, very, just sort of
Couldn't, a giant volcanic explosion also do that, though?
Probably. But this is just one theory.
Yeah, right.
But the evidence that we have for it is that there was nanodiamonds and platinum, which are two materials that do not exist.
Obsidian ice does make me think volcano, though. But yeah, they don't exist on Earth, and that's...
Yeah, nanodiamonds and platinum apparently don't exist on Earth, and they were found on 4 continents. So, like, around this area. So basically, if there was a massive impact event and you were just far enough away from it that you didn't get killed, but you were close enough to it to see the comet going through the sky, you might think that's a little weird. and then the Earth just cools off. Like, weather gets different, and you're like, oh no, we maybe need to worship this comet, worship whatever happened there. We need to commemorate it. We need to ritualize it because something bad happened and we don't want that to happen again, basically.
Yeah.
So,
like that offering.
Sort of.
Or being like not offering, but like, look how much we respect what you sent the first time. You don't have to do it again.
Yep.
The first one was plenty.
The first one was enough. Thank you. Yeah, so that's one theory, is that the timing lines up and Göbeklitepe might be a place that revolved around a new religion circling around or centering around a catastrophic comet impact, which is so cool. So there's at least another, sort of evidence for this is that there's at least 30 other similar sites within 120 miles of Göbeklitepe that follow a similar sort of layout. So the most similar one that is only 25 miles away is Karahan Tepe. So it's contemporary with Göbeklitepe. It was built around the same time, and it's actually visible from Göbeklitepe on clear days because it's on a hill as well. And so you can, if it's a clear day, you can see across from Göbeklitepe to Karahan Tepe.
Whoa.
It has similar structures. And then we know probably how the pillars of Göbeklitepe were built because there's an unfinished monolith at Karahan Tepe. So they just didn't raise this pillar, but you can see the quarry process there. Like, it's quite cool. So we know more about how the process of building Göbeklitepe went because of Karahan Tepe. There's also a subterranean pit that has phallic pillars in it.
Oh, I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah, it's very cool. So all of those pillars, and there's a human head as well, which is really creepy looking. They were built out of bedrock. So they didn't quarry rock and bring it in. They dug directly into the bedrock and cut it out.
Wow.
Yeah. And they think there's a theory that this is possibly like a puberty ceremony site. So there's, some sort of thing to do with boys growing into men. And they carved a bunch of penises.
I mean, every bar mitzvah I've ever been to.
It's not bar mitzvah that you get cut out.
No, it was the first like becoming a man ceremony that that came to mind.
Okay. Yeah. It's like bachelorette parties in that.
It was the first example.
Dick straws, dick lollipops, all of the good things. I forgot to mention this, but there's heavy snake imagery both at Göbeklitepe and Karahan Tepe, and they think that fits within Fertile Crescent religious ideology at this time because snake gods were worshipped, and they also think that the Anunnaki were portrayed as snakes quite a bit.
Okay.
So there's heavy snake imagery at both sites. And actually at Karahan Tepe and at Karahan Tepe mostly because it was it's a newer discovery. Ground penetrating radar suggests that there's massive undiscovered structures that they haven't yet excavated, which is crazy.
How do I get that to be my job? Excavation.
You have to go to archaeology school.
Yeah.
Which I would love to do deeply.
Yeah.
But basically, that's it. We don't know anything else about Göbeklitepe.
Wow.
All we can do is theorize.
That's nuts.
We'll likely never have the answer. We don't know why a bunch of hunter-gatherers started building this thing. We don't know if it was a temple, if it was an astrological thing or astronomical thing, or if it was a commemoration thing, or like a, what am I looking for? A ritual, like a remembrance, a site of remembrance. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll never know. So,
wow.
Yay.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That, like...
It's crazy.
That's, like, the kind of stuff that's the history I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Is the shit that we don't know a lot about. But
it's mysteries. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to think that mysteries are more fun as well, because then, you know, it's more engaging, because it's kind of like, oh, you can come up with your own theories, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than... But, yeah, so that's Göbeklitepe. It's very cool. My For You page is pretty much solely... Well, not solely, but there's a lot of, like, historical, and then there's, like, things about the Great Lakes that I'm interested in, like humans that lived where the Great Lakes now are.
Do you want to know
What?
something embarrassing?
Sure.
About me?
Mm-hmm.
Until like 2 weeks ago, I thought the Great Lakes and the Finger Lakes were the same thing. I thought the Finger Lakes was just a nickname for the Great Lakes.
The Finger Lakes. No, the Finger Lakes are in New York.
They're in New York. Okay. I found it out because I was on one of my Google Earth tours that I like to do when I have some time at work. And I just keep seeing videos of upstate New York, and it looks so pretty. And so I started looking into what towns could I live in. And so I was just touring, and then I saw what I now know as the Finger Lakes. And I was like, I've always been a little suspicious. I just have never actually looked into it. And so then I actually looked into it and realized that for 27 years of my life. And there's a photo of me saved on my Snapchat from when I was visiting my friend in Ohio with a view of like...
You've also been to Chicago several times.
The lake that's there. Yeah, and I think I also made a Finger Lake joke there.
I'm sure you did, and everyone just like...
every time I've been to a Great Lake, I've said something about a Finger Lake. No one's ever corrected me. So like, is it...
They probably just thought you were like trying to make a joke about it.
I wasn't. I thought that the Finger Lakes was just the nickname for the Great Lakes because it's more fun to say.
No, the Great Lakes are basically just inland seas. So.
And you know, I know that now.
They're inland seas.
I mean, I always knew that, but like now I know that the Finger Lakes are not the same thing.
Indeed, they're not.
Anywho.
Well, I'm glad you know that now. That's good.
Today's a day of just confessing our sins.
Yeah, I confessed a lot of things that
our embarrassing
just
moments.
Fully thought that I was never going to admit in public. So
yeah,
Victoria's theme song.
That was really interesting.
Thank you. I really enjoy watching these episodes for inspiration because I'm like,
yeah, that
mystery.
Was nuts.
I also just
love a mystery.
Like sometimes like things are just so cool. Like, did you know that Switzerland has like 370,000 bunkers?
No.
Yeah. I watched a video about like the 3 largest bunkers in Switzerland. I watched there's this, shout out to this YouTube channel. It's called Yes Theory. It's very good. And they go around and do like the most unique YouTube videos I think I've ever seen. They're just like a bunch of European guys who are like, seek discomfort. That's their whole like slogan, which is like cool, but
whatever. I know those guys.
Have you seen them?
Well, yeah, they also used to do like trick shots.
They also, it's also like kind of Mr. Beastified, but like not horribly so. They still do insane travel videos.
How did they let that man into the pyramids?
He's got a lot of money. I think that's...
I just don't trust his face.
You know normal people can go into the pyramids, right?
No, but he got to go into like places that like no one gets to go in, and that's just not fair.
No, it's not fair at all. He has serial killer eyes.
He has serial killer eyes, and I just know that one day some crazy dark scandal is going to come out about
Probably.
him.
If it came out about Shane Dawson, it's going to come out about him. I'm just saying. Mr. Beast scares me.
And
everything I've learned about him,
and we're talking shit about YouTubers. You know what?
Whatever.
You can talk shit.
I'll say that with my chest. And
yeah, I get like heebie-jeebies.
Everything I've learned about him is against my will. So that's just me. Also, my favorite thing was that him and Caleb Heron had beef recently.
Who's that?
Caleb Heron he's like the big fat gay guy from.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, I do too. If that offends anyone, we can cut that out. But that's like kind of how he describes himself. So I feel like that's not a bad thing to describe him as. He's from Kansas City as well, which is quite cool. And he went to Missouri State, which is hilarious. So I consider him a bit of a hometown. I consider him a bit of a hometown hero. But basically, Mr. Beast posted a tweet that was like, how is this guy with 1 million followers more influential than me? Because there was a Rolling Stone list that counted Caleb Heron as like number 6 most influential influencer or most influential YouTubers. And then Mr. Beast was number 7. And he was like, who is this guy with 1 million followers? I have beef with the Rolling
Hunger
Stones.
Games isn't his whole thing. So he doesn't just recreate the Hunger Games for people.
And then Caleb posted an Instagram story that was like, in peace talks with Mr. Beast currently.
Working on a treaty.
Very influential. So now that's like all over my For You page. Every time I see a video of Caleb Heron doing stand-up or whatever, it's like, this guy is so influential. Who is he? He seems much more influential than Mr. Beast. So anyways, I thought that was funny. Mr. Beast being in a pyramid. There's other people who have been in pyramids. You can YouTube it.
Surely, right? Yeah.
YouTube it, I say, as a 95-year-old woman.
It's like my dad used to tell me, he said, I'm gonna go Pinterest some things.
And I feel like the way that you just did an impression is exactly how he said it. So I really appreciate that.
This was like in high school. I don't know that he still Pinterests, but he would tell me anytime he got an email, a marketing email from Pinterest, he would say, oh, Pinterest is contacting me. And he Pinterest had, I believe, 2 Pinterest boards. One was for cabins and the other one was for campers.
Good. As it should be. I still use my nails Pinterest board from when I was 12 years old. And the cover photo of that... Speaking of more really embarrassing stuff that I've done.
You go through our
the cover photo titles? For that. Hold on. I can show everyone now that we're doing YouTube. I can show everyone because I still use it because like I got these nails off of Pinterest. They're really cute, right?
Oh, yeah. Did you show a nail artist those?
Yeah.
My Pinterest board names are my big problem.
Yeah, mine are okay. I like food, tattoos, and other rebellious things is like a little cringe, but whatever.
Adventure is out there is one of mine.
This is the cover of my Pinterest board for nails. Before you ask, I have never let my boyfriend see that. Ever. Because the way that I would never live that down is...
I have a board called I'm a Keeper.
Is that a wedding board, perhaps?
No, it's for soccer. I was a goalkeeper.
Oh, and it's just
3 pairs of cleats, and this is the cover photo.
Fear the keeper, obviously. Yes.
So
insane behavior.
Oh, these are so... I need to stop looking.
Yeah, we should not do this anymore. Okay. Yeah, you should definitely go find more. Maybe I will find tours of the pyramids. But anyways, yes theory, there's so many. The original point of this thought was that there are so many. The thing that we were talking about originally is that there's so many things about history that I just didn't know and are so cool. And the Yes Theory video I watched yesterday was about how the Swiss are like unnaturally defensive of their country. Like everyone knows how to shoot a rifle in Switzerland, like because they're always neutral, and so they don't attack, they just anticipate having to defend.
Mm-hmm.
So during World War II, the Alps would have made Switzerland like a fortress, basically. Like all of their people could have retreated into the Alps, and then they would have defended Switzerland from it. It's like some Game of Thrones type stuff. Like that's insane. Nuts. Yeah. So anyways, there's a lot of things about history that you just don't know unless you randomly find something on YouTube that talks about it.
Wow.
All right. We should probably get off this thing.
Yeah, I guess we should. Oh, yeah, I guess we should. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Catch you on the flippity flop.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.